So where had our struggle reached? We all are freedom fighters and we are fighting for the struggle. So we are on the verge of the movements we are talking about. So our let me just quickly recapitulate the things. So it is you have must have understood the theme of the chapter, that why are we studying this. So it is related to all the national movements that happened just before the independence, and step by step how it came, and you have to try to relate with each other. Okay, so we started from trade to territory. So how people were discontented of the British rule and they wanted to get rid of it. And I told you about the formation of Indian National Congress, which was formed in 1885 by A.O. Hume. And the people in Indian Congress were some of the people were moderates and some were radicals. Okay, so the moderate people, their style of working was quite, you can say, soft spoken. They were polite. They believed in negotiations. So they believed that if they will keep their demands in front of the Britishers, so they will agree on their demands. But it was opposed by some of the people who were known as radicals, as well as we also call them more extremists. So in that, it trio of Lal Bal Pal came. So Lal means Lala Lajpat Rai, Bal is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, and Pal is Bipin Chandra Pal. So they were from Bipin Chandra Pal was from Bengal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak was from Maharashtra, and Lala Lajpat Rai was from Punjab. So these were the
Punjab.
extremists, and they were not satisfied with the style of the working of the moderates. Okay, so they opposed. They said that if you want freedom, so that should be gained on their own strength, not on the good intentions of the government. So in concern to this, he raised the slogan that freedom is my birthright and I shall have it. So then I told you the story of Bengal partition. So I told you that it was the biggest province that time, and Bihar, Assam all were a part of that Bengal. And the reasons for the partitions were actually it was different, and what was shown on the paper it was different. So they said that it was for the administrative convenience, but reality में क्या था कि उनको लगता था कि ये लोग जुड़ गए बहुत हैं extremist हैं हमारे खिलाफ हो गए हैं, so they will be setting up a big revolt once again. So to divide them, to split the Bengal people, they did this Bengal partition. Usme what they did, they divide Hindu and Muslims. Okay, so in the same way there was one what happened as a result of the partition of Bengal. People were infuriated, and opposed to this Bengal partition came the Swadeshi movement. Okay, so Swadeshi movement means they said that they believe that if you want to get rid of the British rule, so start boycotting them. इनको boycott करो, इनका कोई product use ना करो, to boycott the English education also. So Swadeshi movement, what were the objectives of Swadeshi movement? They oppose the British rule and encourage the ideas of self-help. Okay, that we should depend on ourselves, we should not depend on the Britishers for any of the thing. Swadeshi enterprise should be there, national education should be promoted, and use of Indian languages should be there in India only. Then Swaraj feeling came. So what was their mode of struggle? They believe in mass mobilization, means they used to gather large number of people and they started forming big associations and they started revolting against the Britishers, and they started boycotting of British institutions and goods. उन्होंने जाना कॉलेज जाना बंद कर दिया जो इंस्टीट्यूशन जो ब्रिटिशर्स के थे, and the goods which were made by them. So they started boycotting and they suggested for revolutionary violence also. So this was suggested by extremist. ठीक है, radicals का ये mode of struggle था, and this was in you can say it was the opposite of the moderates. So then what happened? So when there was a difference of opinion, ki moderates believe karte the that we could negotiate, and extremists they were aggressive and they wanted to fight for their right. So there came the difference of opinion in the Congress, in the moderates versus extremists. So what happened after that? Congress split up. कांग्रेस स्प्लिट हो गई, मॉडरेट्स अलग हो गए, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट अलग हो गए. रीजंस क्या हुए? आई टोल्ड यू दैट द मॉडरेट्स वर अपोज्ड टू द यूज ऑफ बॉयकॉट. बॉयकॉट वाज यू कैन से इट वाज इनिशिएटेड बाय द एक्सट्रीमिस्ट, बट मॉडरेट्स को लगा कि नहीं बॉयकॉट करेंगे तो दैट इन्वॉल्व द यूज ऑफ फोर्स, बट वी डोंट बिलीव इन फोर्स, वी विल यूज नॉन वायलेंट मेथड्स. So that's why Congress split up होगी, moderates अलग हो गए, extremist अलग हो गए. Congress came to be dominated by moderates. So Congress में basically जो meetings होती थी, mainly जो function करते थे, that were the moderate people, and Tilak and all who were extremists, they functioned from outside. वो बाहर से अपना बनाने लगे associations and they started attacking the Britishers. Okay, so how this is how Congress was split up. And then what happened? So at the same time in the Bengal there were some Muslim people also. So Muslim लोगों को क्या लगा कि that they wanted their own community. So see what is the basic, you can say, reason that instead of getting united against the British, they started splitting among themselves. वो अपने आप में ही वो अलग होते रहे, हिंदू अलग हो गए, मुस्लिम अलग हो गए, मॉडरेट एक्सट्रीमिस्ट अलग हो गए. So but the main aim was to get rid of British, and it could only be possible that if they will be united. But what happened? So at the same time when this Muslim League also came, Muslim League में क्या होगा, जो मुस्लिम थे, they supported the Bengal partition. ठीक है, उन्होंने बंगाल पार्टीशन को सपोर्ट किया. एंड हु वाज द लीडर ऑफ दिस मुस्लिम लीग? मोहम्मद अली जिन्ना. ठीक है, ही सपोर्टेड पार्टीशन ऑफ बंगाल. व्हाई ही सपोर्टेड? बिकॉज दे बिलीव, जो जितने मुस्लिम्स थे ना बंगाल में, दे वांटेड टू हैव सेपरेट इलेक्टोरेट फॉर मुस्लिम्स, कि उनका अपना एक अलग इलेक्टोरेट हो वेयर दे कुड बी इलेक्टेड एज लीडर्स एंड दे वांटेड टू वर्क separately. Okay, they wanted to be separated from Hindus and Sikhs. They wanted to have their separate electorate for Muslims. So that's why they supported the partition of Bengal. And so what was the outcome? Outcome इससे ये होगा कि जो मुस्लिम और हिंदूज वो भी स्प्लिट हो गए. So Britishers, you know, they wanted the opportunity कि when they so that's why they gave it to Muslims. उन्होंने कर दिया था, एक मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी बना दी थी, that Hridaya was saying that day. Okay, so it was done why? By the Britishers, because they wanted to split them, they wanted to divide and rule. So when Muslims, they were in the favor of partition and Hindus were not, so they took the advantage and they gave them the separate electorate for Muslims. So that's why they were able to divide. Now you say कि ma'am, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट अलग हो गए, मॉडरेट्स अलग हो गए, मुस्लिम्स अलग हो गए, हिंदू मुस्लिम्स हो गए, सो सारा इतनी सारी डिवीजन होगी. सो हाउ वी कुड गेन इंडिपेंडेंस इफ देयर इज so much of division? So division in the society came. So it was a very sad situation that time in India, that all the people were divided among themselves. वो खुद ही split up हो गए कि ब्रिटिशर्स के खिलाफ क्या लड़ेंगे वो. So then this ray of hope came. So in December 1916, the two groups, moderates and extremists, reunited. So this was how then slowly they felt. जब उनको, जब मुस्लिम्स ने ब्रिटिशर्स का साथ दे दिया. Okay, so when they felt that they have been united with the Britishers, so then they realized, moderates and extremists, they realized. And what happened, इसमें वो हुआ था कि एक कांग्रेस की मीटिंग चल रही थी, उसमें एक जूता फेंक के मारा था किसी ने. ये बाल गंगाधर तिलक ने मारा था शायद. एंड वो किसको जाके लगा? इट हिड दैट फिरोज शाह मेहता को लगा था, हु वाज अ मेंबर ऑफ मॉडरेट कांग्रेस. सो उसमें बहुत ज्यादा हड़कंप हो गया था. बट देन लेटर ऑन, बिकॉज दे वर ऑफ कांग्रेस पीपल, तो कांग्रेस के थे ना, चाहे वो मॉडरेट थे, एक्सट्रीमिस्ट थे. बट लेटर ऑन ही, लोकमान्य तिलक, बाल गंगाधर तिलक, ही वेंट टू फिरोज शाह मेहता एंड ही अपोलोजाइज्ड, उसने माफी मांग ली थी उनसे. सो देन दे वर रीयूनाइटेड. वो उनकी रीयूनियन होगी एंड दे हैड मीटिंग्स. उनको लगा कि दैट मुस्लिम्स आर विद, दे आर सपोर्टिंग Britishers, and if they want to fight against Britishers, so they have to be united. So then what was the outcome? कि जो moderates and extremists, they reunited and Lucknow Pact was signed. So एक Lucknow Pact आया जिसमें मुस्लिम्स और कांग्रेस ने भी आपस में यूनाइट कर लिया. So what was this Lucknow Pact? Lucknow Pact में ऐसे था कि they had a meeting in which they had a conclusion. They reached on the conclusion that they will be mutually benefiting each other. ठीक है, म्यूचुअल बेनिफिट करेंगे. दैट कांग्रेस वांटेड कि मुस्लिम जो पार्टी है उनमें जो रिप्रेजेंटेशन है उसमें कुछ कांग्रेस लीडर्स की, हिंदू लीडर्स की भी हो. ओके, इन टर्न दे आल्सो हैड सम बेनिफिट्स. सो मतलब दे आल्सो रियलाइज्ड, उनको भी ये चीज कहीं ना कहीं तो रियलाइज थी ना, दैट ब्रिटिशर्स वर फॉरेन इन देयर कंट्री. So if they want to represent their country, if they want to get freedom from the Britishers, so they have to be united ultimately on how. So some at the end they were also able, they were reunited because of this Lucknow Pact. Okay, so first moderates extreme reunite हो गए, उसके बाद जो कांग्रेस थी वो मुस्लिम के साथ reunite हो गई. And then so they decided to work together for representative government in the country. So then, after then, when all the people were reunited, that resulted to mass nationalism. Means the people all over India, they all became aware that they had to they had to be self-dependent, and they had to support each other. They have to unite with each other if they want this British rule out of the country. And it took shape after 1919. में क्या हुआ? So first World War happened in 1914. All of you know, First World War happened in
Yes.
1918.
Yes,
And which
ma'am.
were the
Ended in
countries which were
1918.
involved in this First World War? Can anyone tell me? Which were the
Ma'am,
countries?
क्या?
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
Germany,
England,
England,
Germany,
Germany,
Britain,
England,
Germany, England,
Japan.
England,
England,
Yes,
Japan.
Japan,
Germany was there. Yes, Germany versus
Ma'am,
England,
England.
England,
United
England,
Kingdom,
England.
Britain.
England,
And
UK
ma'am,
versus
Ottoman
Germany.
Empire
Britain,
was
versus
also
ब्रिटेन,
there.
एंड ब्रिटेन के साथ था यूएसए, रशिया,
Russia,
फ्रांस. दिस वर दे ऑल वर विद यूएसए, विद ब्रिटेन. एंड जर्मनी के साथ कौन सी थी? टर्की.
Ottoman
Ottoman
Empire, ma'am.
Empire,
Ottoman
Yes,
Ottoman
Empire.
Ottoman
Empire.
Empire. Ottoman Empire, that is Turkey. Okay, so what happened? So when this First World War was on, so the effect of the World War was seen in India also. How? So it altered the economic and political situation in India, because Britishers, they were ruling India at that time, and they wanted more soldiers. They wanted more expenditure on the defense. ठीक है, उनको अपनी जो डिफेंस सिस्टम था वो स्ट्रॉन्ग करना था, बिकॉज दे वर फाइटिंग अगेंस्ट द जर्मनी. So then that effect was seen in India also. So when, what did they do? They wanted more money for, because उनका जो डिफेंस सिस्टम उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग करना था, for the defense expenditure that rose. So therefore government increased taxes. जो ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट थी, उन्होंने इंडिया के ऊपर जितने भी टैक्सेस थे, लैंड टैक्सेस, वट एवर टैक्सेस वर दे वर टेकिंग फ्रॉम द पीपल, दे इंक्रीज्ड इट. And demand went high, so price went high. So what happens? So when the people of India, they were facing the problems, they had to pay more taxes. उनको बहुत ज्यादा और force किया गया taxes के लिए. So that led to increase in the hardship for poor and common people. ठीक है, जो लोग गरीब थे, लेबरर क्लास थे, so they faced more problems. But this had benefit also. So at first time it is said that war brought hardship. ठीक है, hardship आई, मुश्किलें आई common and poor people के लिए. But at the same time it created new opportunities also. For whom? So it created new opportunities for the Indian industries. So Indian industries को profit हुआ, because they wanted more, जो इनकी जो डिमांड बढ़ गई, so they wanted more ammunition, and they wanted more hands, jutes, bags, all that, all is written in your book. So Indian industries expanded during the war, and business groups made huge profit out of that. So poor people, they were affected, they had to pay more taxes, but somehow, so Indian, the face of Indian industries, that also they became benefited, and they became, you can say, empowered. Okay, so that expanded. So then it helped in the growth of mass nationalism. So somehow if someone is benefiting some other, one section of the society, Indian society, they were affected, but Indian industries, they were expanded. So that also somehow affected the growth of mass nationalism. And moreover, to add more cruelty to it, what the people of Britain, the British people did, they knew, उनको पता था उस टाइम पे कि that the soldiers who were going on the war, they had to die. ठीक है, मरना था. So they forced the village people of India to supply more soldiers to them. कि उनको जबरदस्ती, फोर्सफुली, दे वर मेड सोल्जर्स, एंड दे वर मेड टू फाइट द वॉर फॉर द ब्रिटिशर्स. कि अब होता है ना कि चलो अपने देश के लिए लड़ो, तो एक अच्छी फीलिंग आती है दैट वी आर गेटिंग सेक्रीफाइस फॉर आवर कंट्री. बट we are getting sacrificed for the people who are ruling India and who are forcing us to do that. So that doesn't make any sense. So that was, you can say, people started opposing the colonial rule more and more. So war, in the war soldiers were required, and British army has to be expanded. So what they did, they forced village people to supply soldiers to them. उनको force कर दिया कि तुम अपने जितने young ये हैं young men, to send the soldiers to them, and many went to serve abroad. So this developed an understanding. इससे लोगों को और ज्यादा चीजें समझ में आई उस टाइम पे, that they, how they were exploiting the imperialist power, the powerful people, they were exploiting us. The British people were exploiting us. So this desired to oppose the colonial rule. And moreover, the role of Russian Revolution also played some of the role in this mass nationalism also, because Russian Revolution में क्या था? This were peasants and farmers. They protested against the government, and they were successful also in the agreeing their demands. ठीक है. सो उसमें भी उनको जब इंडियंस को पता लगा कि रशियन रेवोल्यूशन में पीजेंट फार्मर्स ने प्रोटेस्ट किया है एंड दे आर एबल टू विन ओवर द गवर्नमेंट, सो दैट आल्सो मेड देम मोर पावरफुल. उनको थोड़ी encouragement मिली, उनको होप मिला that we can also do it. And then what happened, there was a sudden twist in the story that Mahatma Gandhi came into light. ठीक है, महात्मा गांधी जी आए अब हमारे. So Mahatma Gandhi, he arrived in India in 1915. Okay, and from where he came? He came from South
South
Africa.
Africa.
South Africa.
He came
South
from
Africa.
South Africa. He was a lawyer. He
South
was
Africa.
practicing there, and in a very short period of time, he became very famous in India. So why? Because yes, we cannot deny that he had done good deeds also, and we have to believe that. Okay, so he came from South Africa, and how people considered in Mahatma, उसको क्यों इतना उन्होंने सिर पे बिठा लिया कि ये मसीहा है हमारे. So behind that, there is also a story. Okay. So Mahatma
मैम एक तो apartheid
Gandhi,
law.
who was known as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi actually. So he emerged as a mass leader. Why? How? What happened? Because first of all, see, he was a lawyer. He was an educated Indian. Okay, you know that educated mind is very powerful. Okay, so educated mind, and he had so many contacts also. He studied from South Africa. His South African campaigns had brought up, वहाँ पे जो उन्होंने campaigns किए थे, जो उन्होंने black people को support किया था, वहाँ पे भी था बहुत ये चलता रहता था इनका
मैम
Russian
apartheid law abolish किया था
Yes,
नेल्सन मंडेला के साथ.
yes, we have read little in that वो इंडिगो प्लांटर्स में पढ़ा था. ठीक है, रशियन रेवोल्यूशन भी, रशिया में भी लोग जो थे वो देवर अपोजिंग, जो फार्मर्स और पीजेंट्स थे वहां पे अपोज करते थे. सो हिज साउथ अफ्रीकन कैंपेन्स हैड ब्रॉट हिम इन कांटेक्ट विद वेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ इंडियंस. जो वहां पे उसने कैंपेन में पार्टिसिपेट किया था, सो उसकी वजह से ही हैड सो मेनी कॉन्टैक्ट्स. ही न्यू हिंदूज, मुस्लिम्स, पारसीज, Christians, Gujaratis, Tamils, North Indians, upper class merchants, lawyers, and workers. So many people he knew, and this was a benefit for him that he knew so many people. So what happened? So first of all, when he came to India in 1915, he spent his first year traveling throughout the country. उसने एक साल सिर्फ इंडिया को travel किया. He came to know, he came to understand people, that what were the situations of the people and what the people were facing that time. ओके, सो हिज अर्लीस्ट इंटरवेंशन, जो उसने अर्लीस्ट सबसे पहले उसने कहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेट किया, दैट वर इन लोकल मूवमेंट्स. ठीक है, कुछ लोकल मूवमेंट्स थी जैसे चंपारण. इफ यू कैन रिलेट इट टू द टॉपिक ऑफ इंडिगो प्लांटर्स.
1917.
Yes, ma'am.
यस. सो व्हाट हैपेंड कि
1917.
वहां पे ब्रिटिशर्स ने पहले बंगाल में जब ब्लू रेबिलियन हुआ, सो फ्रॉम देयर दे वेंट and they went to Bihar again for the indigo plantation. So Bihar में जब then he Mahatma Gandhi came to visit Champaran, we have studied there. ओके, सो उसमें भी फिर महात्मा गांधी ने सपोर्ट किया पीजेंट्स को, फार्मर्स को, एंड he helped farmers to get their proper dues and money from the British government. And in Ahmedabad also, in Kheda also, these both are in Gujarat. You know that Ahmedabad is known as cotton textile. वहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा है. So वहाँ पे भी laborers were exploited. So he also supported the laborers in Kheda also in Gujarat. यहाँ पे भी जो peasant farmers बहुत ज्यादा टैक्सेस लगाया था ब्रिटिशर्स ने. सो समहाउ दीज वर द स्मॉल मूवमेंट, लोकल मूवमेंट्स में फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल गांधी जी पार्टिसिपेटेड एंड ही गेन्ड कंट्रोल. वहां पे जितना भी लोगों को इन्होंने सपोर्ट किया, ऑल द पीपल हैड अ वेरी गुड थॉट्स अबाउट हिम. सो बहुत ज्यादा ये स्प्रेड होते गए. फिर लोगों को पता लगा कि एक महात्मा गांधी जी हैं. महात्मा इनको बाद में मिला था टाइटल. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ओनली ही सेड दैट गांधी जी इज देयर एंड सपोर्टिंग पीपल. So then he came into contact with Rajendra Prasad and Vallabhbhai Patel also. Okay, then what happened in 1919? Okay, so he came in 1915. So just after 4 years in 1919, after traveling throughout the country and coming to know about the conditions of the people, he gave a call for a satyagraha against the Rowlatt Act. So what was this Rowlatt Act? Understand, Rowlatt Act was an act which was passed by the Britishers. इसमें Britishers क्या करते थे? They could arrest any Indian political leader and could detain him for 2 years. Otherwise what happened, you know क्या रूल होता है कि पुलिस का, जब पुलिस किसी को अरेस्ट करती है, so he cannot keep them in the police custody for more than 2 days. So police has to represent him in the court. उसको कोर्ट में पेश करना होता है. But in this they were allowed, police was allowed to detain any Indian political leader for the minimum period of 2 years. So that was Rowlatt Act. Okay, and it was totally you can say it is unacceptable, it was totally wrong, because they could not detain. So then opposing this Rowlatt Act, this Satyagraha movement came. Okay, Satyagraha Rowlatt Act, so Rowlatt Satyagraha Act came, and this was the first independence national movement act, you can say that. Okay, Rowlatt Satyagraha सबसे पहली जो थी, जो mass movement में, otherwise local movements were there, but on the nation, on the, you can say on the national level, this was the first national movement, you can say. It is written in your book also. And the leaders criticized the act. So what happened in this? But Satyagraha, what is the meaning of Satyagraha? Satya means truth. So you know that Gandhiji, he always worked on the footprints of truth, and he believed in non-violence. उनको लगता था कि सिर्फ non-violence ही, this should be our you can say our strength, that we will not kill any people, we will not disturb any peace of the country, but we will work non-violently. But this was not possible. So the act curbed fundamental rights such as the freedom of expression and strengthened police powers also. कि पुलिस पावर को बहुत strengthen कर दिया, कि पुलिस को पावर दे दी कि 2 साल के लिए तुम कोई भी इंडियन पॉलिटिकल लीडर को डिटेन कर लो. So that was not wrong, that was not right on the Britishers part. And the leaders criticized this act. Leaders ने act को criticize किया, and he considered them as devilish and tyrannical. Devilish means like a devil, you know, devil as a राक्षस की तरह ये बैठे होते थे इंडिया के ऊपर, and they are ruling us. Tyrannical means it's a sad condition also on the part of Britishers. So therefore, Gandhiji asked the Indian people to observe 6th April 1919 as a day of non-violent opposition to this act. Okay, so it came, जैसी वो एक्ट आई, रॉलेट एक्ट आई, so that time only Gandhi ji asked Indian people that we will observe 6th April 1919 as a day of non-violent opposition, that we Indian oppose this Rowlatt Act. Clear? So then Satyagraha Sabhas were set up to launch the movement, जो Rowlatt Satyagraha आई, so Rowlatt को एक्ट को अपोज करने के लिए, and this was the first all India struggle against the British government. This you should know, that Rowlatt Satyagraha, it was the first all India struggle against the British government, and there were a number of demonstrations and hartals in the country. So what people started doing, they started demonstration, इन्होंने protest शुरू कर दिए, हड़ताल शुरू कर दिए, but in a peaceful way. And when this was done by the Indian people, so what was the response of the British? British का response ये था, you know that they were very brutal, so brutal measures to suppress this Rowlatt Satyagraha was done by the British people. So what they did लाठी चार्ज शुरू कर दिया, उन्होंने मारना पीटना शुरू कर दिया Indians को, and then this infamous incident of Jallianwala Bagh massacre also happened when this Rowlatt Act Satyagraha came. So what was there in Jallianwala Bagh massacre? You all know that on the auspicious day of Baisakhi it happened. Okay, so Jallianwala Bagh massacre उस time पे जब Rowlatt सत्याग्रह चल रहा था, and people were opposing, and what happened? Jallianwala Bagh में बैसाखी का मेला लगा हुआ था उस time पे, and the people from the villages went to there just to pay their obeisance and to roam there, and they were all innocent people, and they were not involved in even this in revolution, they were not revolutionaries, they were common people, they were innocent people. And why this was done? This General Dyer was there at that time, so they just wanted to create a huge fear in the hearts of the Indian people, so that they should not be able to do anything, कि उनके दिलों में इतना डर पैदा कर दो कि वो ये कोई रिवोल्ट कोई सत्याग्रह करने लायक बचे ही ना. So that's why this was done. So there was no any innocent people को ऐसे ही मार दिया इन लोगों ने. So all this, you know that it was full with people that time. So when it happened, so General Dyer इन लोगों की भी तब मीटिंग चल रही थी उस टाइम पे, and he ordered that open fire कर दो. So in Amritsar on Baisakhi Day, 13th April, General Dyer inflicted brutal suppression and killed many innocents. So तब ये हुआ था, and innocent people were dead, means open fire, blind fires were shot at the people. So this was just to create a huge fear in the hearts of the Indian people कि इनको इतना डर इनके मन में पैदा कर दो that they should not be able to do anything. So what happened after that? So Jallianwala Bagh massacre जब हुआ, so Indians were enraged by this. बहुत लोगों में गुस्सा आया, and Rabindranath Tagore expressed the pain and anger of the country by renouncing his knighthood. Renouncing his knighthood means what happened that time? He was given, Rabindranath Tagore को title दिया था Britishers ने. He was a good person. He did a very you can say remarkable work in the field of literature. He did. ठीक है. So इनको एक knighthood, it is written in your book also that it is an honorary title.
Ma'am, he was given the title of sir.
Sir.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Sir,
title
And he
1917 में.
returned it to the British.
It is an honorary
1919 में return
1917
किया था.
person for doing any remarkable work in any field. So that's why Rabindranath Tagore was, he expressed his pain and anger, and he just gave back his title to the Britishers. So this was the achievement of Rowlatt Satyagraha. So what happened? Hindus and Muslims were united. So what happened after this? So you know, this happened because first of all, this Jallianwala Bagh में Sikh Hindus थे, ठीक है. So एक और खिलाफत एजिटेशन हम पढ़ेंगे, उसमें भी मुस्लिम्स थे. और तो उसके बाद सो हिंदूज मुस्लिम्स को ये चीज पता लगे कि दैट दे हैव टू बी यूनाइटेड इफ दे वांट टू फाइट अगेंस्ट द ब्रिटिश रूल. एंड महात्मा गांधी एंड हिज ओपिनियन वाज व्हाट, दैट इंडिया इज द लैंड ऑफ ऑल, मींस इंडिया इज आवर लैंड, इट इज नॉट द लैंड ऑफ द ब्रिटिशर्स. सो ही वाज कीन दैट हिंदूज एंड मुस्लिम्स support each other in any just cause. Okay, so what happened now? Understand this. This is very important. So first of all, I told you that the first Indian national movement was the Rowlatt Satyagraha, and when this was running, so the same thing happened after just after that. So it was on 6th April. ठीक है, Rowlatt Satyagraha को 6th April and 13th April को जलियांवाला बाग इंसिडेंट हो गया. And parallel to this, जलियांवाला बाग जब हुआ, parallel to this, one more agitation was going on among the people of Muslims. Okay, among Muslim people, you can say. So that was Khilafat agitation. Now what is this Khilafat agitation? I'll tell you. And when these two things happened, Jallianwala Bagh massacre and Khilafat agitation, so इसमें क्या हुआ? Hindus and Muslims, they reunited, and that led to non-cooperation movement. Okay, so what happened in this? Ki Rowlatt Satyagraha was initiated by Mahatma Gandhi ji.
महात्मा गांधी.
Yes. So Jallianwala Bagh massacre हो गया, उसके बाद खिलाफत agitation. So Jallianwala Bagh में who were the people? Mostly Sikhs and Hindus were there in that. Khilafat agitation में Muslim people were there. So when they both were against the Britishers, Jallianwala Bagh में Sikhs और Hindus they went against the Britishers. Khilafat agitation में Muslims became against the Britishers. So then Mahatma Gandhi saw an opportunity to reunite Hindus and Muslims. उनको लगा कि this is the right time to reunite Hindus and Muslims, and then this non-cooperation movement came. So what is this Khilafat issue? Understand. So what happened? You know that World War I was going on that time. So in that time with Germany, which other country was there? Turkey. Okay, Turkey में एक सुल्तान थे, Turkish Sultan. He was known as Khalifa. So Turkish Sultan Khalifa, he was from Muslim community, and people in India, Muslim people in India, they supported Khalifa. वो खलीफा को बहुत मानते थे और उसको सपोर्ट भी करते थे. But when Britain attacked Turkey and they acquired some of the religious places of Turkey, उन्होंने टर्की की कुछ religious places को take over कर लिया, acquire कर लिया, ठीक है. So what happened? So in 1920, the British imposed a harsh treaty on the Turkish Sultan, that is Khalifa. So जब ब्रिटेन ने टर्की के ऊपर अटैक किया, एंड हु वाज द टर्किश सुल्तान दैट टाइम? खलीफा था उस टाइम पे. सो उस टाइम पे उसने जब अटैक किया, सो ही वाज डिफीटेड, एंड some of his religious places of the Muslims, they were acquired by the Britishers. Okay, and people were furious about this क्योंकि उसका इफेक्ट इंडिया में भी दिखा. जो इंडिया में मुस्लिम्स थे, he used to support खलीफा, वो खलीफा को मानते थे. और जब ब्रिटिशर्स ने टर्की पे अटैक किया and the territories were acquired by the Britishers, so then people in India, the Muslim people in India, they became furious on this. ठीक है, and then this Khilafat agitation, it's came into light, you can say. So this Khilafat agitation and non-cooperation movement, what is the relation between? So then what happened? So when Indian Muslims ने demand किया that the Khalifa be allowed to retain control over Muslim sacred places in the erstwhile Ottoman Empire, कि Britishers ने the places which they have taken over, which they have acquired from the Ottoman Empire, that is Turkey के जो खलीफा थे, उनके जो जितने भी उन्होंने sacred places को take over किया है, they should be given back to Khalifa. So Indian Muslims ने demand किया Britishers ने. So who were the leaders of these Khilafat agitation? Two brothers were there, Shaukat Ali and Muhammad Ali. ठीक है, शौकत अली एंड मोहम्मद अली, बट द टू ब्रदर्स, इनको हम अली ब्रदर्स भी बोलते हैं. So these two were the brothers, and they were the leaders of the Khilafat agitation. So as a result of this, when people came to know that Britishers had acquired some of the religious places of the Turkey, and they had won over. So Muslim masses were enraged. So Muslim लोगों को बहुत गुस्सा आया इंडिया में. And गांधी जी, अब गांधी जी को भी चांस मिला. He was very intelligent. He was observing everything that what was happening. So first Jallianwala Bagh happened. In that, 6 Hindus were there, so they were against the Britishers. So now this Khilafat agitation parallel it was running, and Muslim people were against the Britishers. So now he got the chance to unite Hindu and Muslim. So Gandhiji supported their call and saw an opportunity to unite Hindu and Muslims. And he urged Congress to campaign against the Punjab wrongs and the Khilafat wrong. Punjab wrongs, Jallianwala Bagh, Khilafat wrong, that Khilafat agitation I told you why. So then this led to Swaraj. So movement for Swaraj, then it happened, the non-cooperation movement came. So these are some of the important movements of Indian national movements. Non-cooperation hogi, iske baad civil disobedience aayegi, then Quit India movement. These are some of the powerful and prominent movements. Okay, so non-cooperation movement, I told you that how it came. Rowlatt Satyagrah, and after that Jallianwala Bagh massacre happened, and then Khilafat agitation was going on parallel that time. So because of the two, then Gandhiji started this non-cooperation movement also, and this movement gained momentum through 1921 and 22 में ज़्यादा बहुत तेज होगी, intense it became. And how did the movement unfolded in steps? ठीक है, so क्या हुआ? So non-cooperation means, what do you mean by non-cooperation? Means I won't cooperate with you in any of the things. ठीक है, मैं आपसे कोई बात नहीं करूंगी, आपकी कोई चीज यूज नहीं करूंगी. I will not cooperate with you. So Gandhiji believed that if they want to get rid of the Britishers, and he made the people also realize that you just start a non-cooperation movement against them, start boycotting them at all in all the fields. So what happened as a result of this? So people were supporting Mahatma Gandhiji that time. So thousands of students left government controlled schools and colleges. So students ne bhi saath diya, they left government controlled schools and colleges. Many lawyers such as Motilal Nehru, C.R. Das, Rajagopalachari,
which was imposed by the Britishers not to have India's dominance over there. That's why it was being implicated. Do you know what was the proverb at that time used?
no.
It was no appeal, no wakil, no dalil. ना कोई अपील कर सकता है, ना कोई दलील कर सकता है, ना कोई वकील कर सकता है.
Yes, Meenakshi ma'am, I'm back. Got disconnected. Am I audible?
So ये नोट करके रखो चीजें. Hello. Hello. हाँ जी बेटा, मैम इज देयर. ठीक है, डेट्स